Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of the NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode here on the channel. Hope you're all having a great day. Today we go Xfinity Series racing here in Darlington, but as well we're going to have a Cup Series hot seat at Darlington, which will be hopefully the final 4-star hot seat if we can complete the goal, which will be a top 20 once again here at Darlington. Not sure what team we're going to get at this point of recording, but I was confident we're still going to get a good ride, hopefully now, as we would get ready to go green here in Darlington, though, for the Xfinity Series. We're coming off another very strong episode where we picked up win number 7 of our rookie season now as the green flag is underway and 7 wins on the season. Well, we start P7 for this race here in Darlington for the Sports Clips Haircuts Help a Hero 200 at Darlington Raceway as we dive down into turns 1. Austin Cindric on the pole. Cindric has been showing speed all season. He's in the top 5 in the points, but he's actually on the bubble right now in terms of the playoff situation, just because he hasn't won a race. Here as we dive down towards turns 3 on the inside of Chase Briscoe as we come through the center of the corner. Ray Black Jr. was up into second place. He had a lot of speed in this race, and if he wins, that could once again shake up the playoff picture for a driver like Riley Herbst especially. He is currently the last driver in the playoffs without a victory right now as we would come through, though, on lap 2, hitting lap 3 of 4 in stage 1. We had climbed up to P4, then we dive up the inside of the JRM driver of Noah Gragson as we try to take over the 3rd position from him as we come through turns 1, and now out of turns 2 we clear Gragson and we take over P3, and then we could not quite run down the front 2 drivers of Ray Black Jr. and Cindric as we came through on the final lap of stage 1 out of turns 4, coming through down the front stretch to cross the line in a solid P3 here in the first stage. So looking very strong already, maybe even a chance to get 8 wins now on the season if we play our cards right here in this race in Darlington. We've had an incredible rookie season already, no matter really what happens at this point. Of course, we look to carry our momentum into the playoffs now as we get ready to go green for the start of stage 2, which is now underway here in Darlington. The sun has fallen a bit now. As you can see, it's getting quite considerably darker. The lights have come on at this point here as we go down into turns 1 behind Cindric, trying to get ahead of the 07 as quick as possible right now as we come through the center of the corner. Cindric goes to the top, and I get to his inside as we exit turns 2, and we clear Ray Black Jr. Now we're going to be side by side with Austin Cindric as we dive down into turns 3. I break a little bit earlier than him, but he is able to get clear of me because of that now as we come through out of turns 4, but we try to get to the inside of him. Couldn't quite make it happen as his 07 was able to get back to my outside, but we would get back past him out of turns 2 on lap 3, and Cindric made a mistake out of turns 2, and that allows myself to pounce on the opportunity, and we would go diving down into turns 3 and take the lead from the Penske driver of Austin Cindric, who's still looking for win number 1 on the season. But once I got to the lead, I was able to hold on, and then the caution actually came out as I started the final lap of stage 2, so that would obviously end the second stage and give us another playoff point on the season, and obviously this sets us up very well for the start of the 3rd and final stage, where we could potentially get 8 wins now on the season if we can pull off the victory here in Darlington. Obviously, Darlington, though, a very tough track to hang on to a victory. You can hit that wall so easily, so we got to keep that in mind here with just 7 laps to go. In Darlington, we are already clear. The AI just never seemed to get good launches off the restarts, at least in trucks and Xfinity. We haven't been in a top performing Cup car yet to really know how the AI are going to be on restarts for that series. Now as we come through turns 3 on lap 16 of 21, Cindric actually faded down the order a little bit. He wasn't really even inside the top 3. It was Ryan Sieg who had moved into second place. He just won in the last episode. Then on lap 18, 4 to go, I get into the outside wall heading down into turns 1. That allows Sieg to close in a little bit on myself here as we go down this back stretch. So now I had to try and manage that gap to Sieg as we came through to just 2 laps to go here, going down into turns 1, and then once again I hit the outside wall, but this time I get stuck in the outside wall. Sieg is going to come through and pass us for the lead through turns 1 and out of turns 2 with 2 laps to go. Now coming to the white flag at this point, still about the same gap between myself and Ryan Sieg, but we've potentially just handed this win away to Ryan Sieg, who just won his way into the playoffs here in the last episode. As we come through turns 1 and out of turns 2, though, we get a huge run on the back of Sieg. We're going to get to the inside. We actually make contact there on his left rear as we dive down into turns 3. For the final time, Sieg is sideways into the outside wall. He goes. We hit him in the left rear now. A little bit of contact with the 39, and out of turns 4, we're into him again. He's in the wall. We're into the side of him, into his quarter panel, but Sieg hangs on for the victory, just barely over us now as we come through to cross the line in the second position here in Darlington. What a finish once again here in Darlington. We've been having a lot of good finishes lately, and we can just add that to the list here now as we were almost able to get the win. I roughed him up quite a bit, still unfortunately couldn't pull off the victory now. So we're still at 7 wins on the season. Briscoe leads the points, but he has 2 wins. Cindric P2 in the points with no wins, but now we would get a hot seat offer to drive the number 43 for the legendary Richard Petty Motorsports team. So this is a huge chance for us now to prove that we belong in the Cup Series, and if we can complete this goal right here, we will get a 5-star offer to do a race later in the season. It'll actually be coming up pretty quick now as we come through. In qualifying, we cross the line with a 30.230, and we go P20 here in Darlington. So a very solid qualifying effort now, as we will be starting on the outside though. So we're going to see who got the pole here now. As the goal was to get a top 20, and that's exactly where we're at for the start of this race. So it looks like we might have a good chance to get that top 20 goal as Kevin Harvick will be on the pole for this race here in the Southern 500. No throwback paint schemes for this one, obviously no throwback DLC out at this point now, like I said, this is a really big race for us because if we can complete this goal, we will get a 5-star hot seat offer, and I believe the 5-star hot seat offer is at Bristol Motor Speedway, which is a track I've had so much success on in the past NASCAR Heat Games, and we'll obviously devote a whole episode to that race because it will be like a normal Cup race, 25%. As well, because I'm in a 5-star car, so we're going to treat it like a normal Cup Series race that you will see next season in the career mode, similar to what you saw in Talladega earlier this season in the Cup Series. Now as we're ready to go green though for the Southern 500, which is now underway here at Darlington Raceway, right behind the 96 of Daniel Suarez, one of my favorite drivers, as you guys know, in the Cup Series, as we dive down towards turns 1 into the right rear quarter panel of Suarez's former car, actually the 41, now driven by Cole Custer, as we come through turns 1 and out of turns 2. Keep in mind, I've mentioned this before, but we will be treating next season in the Cup Series still as a quote-unquote the 2020 season. So Cole Custer will be a rookie and whatnot, Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell, and myself, and obviously it will be Jimmy Johnson's final season. So we're only going to have Jimmy Johnson really in the Cup Series for, one season here in the career mode now, as we were already up the inside of Daniel Suarez as I went down into turns 1, and I would be able to make the pass on him and take over P18. So we were already 2 spots above our goal as we came through out of turn 2. We had some solid corner speed, but the AI definitely had that more pull down towards the back end of the straightaways, but we were able to get up the inside of Austin Dillon. The restarts are really the key for us to be able to gain positions in this race here as we come through turns 1 and 2. Kyle Busch had actually taken the lead here early on in this race, and we come through on lap 5, and Christopher Bell was now actually able to get to my outside, and he was going to be able to make a pass on myself as we came through out of turn 2. Obviously, we drove that car earlier this season, and we had some decent success in it, but surprisingly, it's only a 3-star car in this game, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I would like to see them actually upgraded to a 4-star team. Now, that was, though, as far as I got at that point in the stage. We come through on lap 11 of 14 in stage 1, still running P18 here, but then we come through to the final lap of the stage. Kyle Busch already down into turn 3 as I was entering turn 1, but Eric Almirola gets to my inside through turns 1 and 2. I had no fight at all for him, and I just wanted to play it safe. Now as we come through out of turns 2, we got very loose. Thankfully, we hang on to the car, and as we go down the back straightaway, it's going to be down to P19 as we dive down into turn 3. So 1 spot ahead of the top 20 goal, and then the stage would come to an end there as 10th place did cross the line. So right now, Chris Buescher holds on to P20, Austin Dillon P21, and we just need to stay P20 and above here if we want to complete that goal. Everybody was coming to the pit lane, so I decided we're just going to come in, play it safe, put 2 cans of fuel in the car, as well as throw 4 tires on. Is Jimmy Johnson up there in P3 having a good run so far, and same for Ryan Newman, who's in the 2nd position now, as Denny Hamlin would gain 1 spot on the pit lane and overtake Tyler Reddick now as they swap positions for the start of stage 2, which is now underway here in Darlington Raceway as we start P19 for the 2nd stage now. Chris Buescher on our outside. Right in front of us, we got the duo SHR drivers of Custer and Almirola as we dive down into the first turn. So Kyle Busch out front, though, looking to get the Southern 500 victory here as we come through out of turns 2 on the inside of Tyler Reddick now running this iconic 43 car. Didn't think we were going to get a chance to run this car, but here we are running it now as we go down into turns 3. Hopefully, though, in the next hot seat, that's 5 stars, we'll be on Joe Gibbs or something. That would be kind of cool. Obviously, right now, Joe Gibbs doesn't have quite anything to say about who's going to replace Eric Jones in that 20 Cup car next season, but news about that will be coming very soon here in the career mode. Look for that coming within the next 2 or 3 episodes or so. Now, as we come through now on lap 3, unfortunately, I kind of left the door open for Tyler Reddick, and then I hit the outside wall on the exit of turns 2. There's a bump there in the center towards the exit of the corner. Unfortunately, I hit that bump and it pushed me into the wall, and unfortunately after that we drift down to P21, so now outside of our goal. But I follow Chris Buescher through getting past Austin Dillon, so we climb back up to P20. Then I get to the left rear of Buescher on the exit of turn 2, and he's going to get sideways after the contact, and now down the back straightaway he's going to go spinning their contact with De Benedetto, and that's going to bring out the caution here in Darlington in stage 2. 100% my fault right there, as I got a little bit too eager to try and get the position from him, and I just made a mistake. I got into his left rear. Unfortunately, he was not able to hang on to the car, and you saw how loose he got, and I thought he was going to hold on to it for a moment, but unfortunately it didn't quite work out now. But we will get back into the action, though, so Chris Buescher probably not going to be a fan of myself, or a fan of me as we go into the Cup Series next season, to say the least, now as we dive down into turns 1 on the inside of Matt De Benedetto. So very unfortunate kind of how we did Buescher. Now as we come through the center of turns 1 and 2 of the inside of Cole Custer, Kyle Busch still up front, though, at this point, as you see up ahead, Tyler Reddick side by side with Matt Kenseth, the NASCAR Cup Series champion from, 2003 or something like that now. As we came through, though, on the final lap of Stage 2, we actually got past Matt Kenseth, so we climbed up to P17 and then go to the outside of Tyler Reddick through turns 3 and now to the back of Christopher Bell as we come through now out of turns 4. Very close there with Kenseth, but we cross the line, P17 in Stage 2. So 3 spots above the goal right now, so we're doing good going towards that third and final stage. And if we can just keep the car clean, we already hit the wall once and we did take out the 17 car, but if we can keep the car clean here in stage 3, we should be able to hold on to that goal and complete the hot seat now, as we are once again underway for now the third and final stage here in Darlington Raceway. Behind us it's Cole Custer, on my outside it's Matt Kenseth, and only 16 laps to go, so only a couple laps longer than that first stage was. Now as we come through turns 1, Kyle Busch swept stage 1 and 2, so 2 playoff points to him, and this is actually in the playoffs right now for the Cup Series. So these are important races that we're actually getting involved in here with these hot seats now. As back in the previous NASCAR Heat games, all the hot seats were actually in regular season races, but not this time around. Now as we go down the backstretch down into turn 3, we passed Eric Jones, the car that we're auditioning for to have next season. Well, we just passed that 20 car in a RPM car, so I think we're doing a pretty good job solidifying my case. Now as we would also get up the inside of Denny Hamlin and pass him, we climbed up all the way to P13 at this point, but then Christopher Bell, he was able to get to my inside as we came through out of turns 4 on lap 41, less than 10 laps to go at this point, hoping things were going to stay green, of course, because it was looking great for myself at this point with 7 laps to go. So as we dive down into turns 1, Bell would be able to take the position, so I drift down now into the 14th spot here as we came through now on lap 42. Actually send it up the outside of Bell, and then I actually get to the outside wall there nearly making contact with Bell, and then I hit the outside wall again and we hang on to it, but we go all the way down to the apron. Boyer gets past me, we drift down to P15, but thankfully we kept it clean, and Bell would actually lose the spot to Clint Boyer as we came through now starting the final lap here in Darlington, trying to put the pressure on the 95 as we dive down into turns 1. He's going to outbrake me into the corner now as we're right on his back bumper. He's going to get very defensive on myself here on the final lap. Can't say I blame him too much as we come through out of turns 2. A whole cluster of cars up in front of us now as we go down this back straightaway. Kyle Busch has just crossed the line to win the Southern 500 now as we come through turns 3, and we're going to go up the outside of Christopher Bell now as we come through out of turns 4. Help from the draft from Boyer, and we're coming to the line. We're going to get Bell at the line and cross the line here to finish a very solid P14 here in Darlington, so cannot complain too much about that. Kyle Busch wins the race, Joey Logano second, Jimmy Johnson up there in P3. Obviously that would propel Kyle Busch into the next round of the playoffs. So my game actually crashed after I exited out of the whole race here, but it still gave me my progress. We completed the hot seat and whatnot, so it didn't come up with the stuff like congratulations and whatnot, but it still saved at least the progress. So in the next one, we will be rounding out the regular season in the Xfinity series. We're going to be going to Richmond Raceway, so I'm going to be very interested to see how that goes, and then we're going to start the Xfinity series playoffs as well at Bristol. So we're going to just do 2 races in the next one for Richmond and Bristol in Xfinity, and then after that we're going to have a Cup Series hot seat at Bristol, which is we're going to devote a whole episode to that and treat it like we would for a normal Cup Series video now. So as always, if you guys enjoyed what you saw, you know what to do. But there you see, 1 race until the playoffs, so obviously that means what's the playoff grid look like at this point here in the Xfinity series. Basically Austin Cindric, he's locked in on points. Cindric can no longer get eliminated from playoff contention, but Riley Herbst basically just has to beat Daniel Hemrick and Jeremy Clements and hope we don't get a surprise winner. So it's very easy for him. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching, everybody, and have yourselves a great day.